2 weeks since Harold was found. 2 weeks since I got a decent sleep. 2 weeks since I had any money. 13th night, sneaking into one of the cars at Tony's to sleep. Pretty sure she knows, but she hasn't said anything. Marley said he'd square it with Rodney to let me stay at the motel, but I can't do that. I'm enough of a charity case as it is. My accounts have enough in them to pay this month's bank fees, then I'm totally broke. Several outstanding accounts have not been paid by their respective clients. I haven't been able to follow up on them since I took this case. I've assisted debt collectors in tracking down people before. It's a hard line of work. The Robsons, well, they're refusing to pay. Apparently, since all my work did not contribute one iota to finding Harold, they're withholding payment.
Hun, you look a wreck and no amount of coffee is going to help. Nicotine hit?
Not now, Sandra. Thank you.
Morning, Inspector.
Good morning, Sandra. Ray.
Christ. Can't a girl make notes in peace?
Well, this is what happens when you make your notes in public.
Cafe's not open yet, Marley. Sandra lets me in so I can get some peace, the same way she lets you in to get your morning coffee before opening time. Take your coffee and go to work.
When it's ready, you look a wreck.
So I've been told for the last week.
When my offer still stands, I can talk to Rodney.
No.
So stay with me then.
You're the one who called this a gossip town. It'd ruin your reputation, so no.
Coffee's up, Inspector.
Goodbye, Inspector.
Stop by later. I want to...
I said bye. What a waste of tape. Sorry, Sandra, that was rude.
Thank you for apologising. I know you're not yourself right now. Finish your breakfast and go take a shower upstairs.
No, Sandra, I couldn't.
No, Ray, you damn well will. Or else I'll have to ban you from being here during business hours.
That bad, huh?
Well, no, not quite. But I insist, and I'll hear no more about it.
Yes, Mum. I don't know how I'm ever going to repay her kindness. Robsons dropped through town to see Harold. At least he'll never be subject to their abuse again. Can't register a thing. I may have to call in a couple of favours, or find a collector who works pro bono. I'll look into it as soon as I get a good night's sleep. God knows when that'll be. Car's still in evidence, and... Yes, I'll have to go see Marley after all. Well, apparently I'm not getting my car back for a few more weeks. It's still considered evidence, and the Robsons are trying to pin the blame on me, it would seem. It won't hold up in court. They're just trying to make as much trouble for me as humanly possible. Oh, my kingdom for a decent night's rest. On top of that, I have to walk everywhere, which is time-consuming as well as tiring. I rang Emma today, called in all my favours from her. She's going to chase up my clients from a legal standpoint, scare them into settling before it goes to court. Oh, that woman is a godsend. She's going to get paid, of course. I told her to start charging interest on the accounts the longer they're left unpaid. Should help cover expenses. Also rang my landlord. He's cutting me no slack. Wouldn't give me the space back, has taken my bond for unpaid rent, and has already leased the space out to someone else. Looks like I'm going to be stuck here for a while. I know this isn't the sort of thing I should be noticing if I want to stay sane, but... Saw a new kid in town today. He was at the cafe. I've gotten to know most of the regulars' faces, and Sandra didn't seem to know him, so I assume he's from out of town. I was on my way out not long after he sat down and ordered. Something in my gut is screaming about this kid. Maybe I'm just paranoid after what I've seen with Harold, but I have to say, after the shit I've seen, I think I'd be crazy not to be wary. Marley's keeping an eye on him for me. He gets why I'm nervous. He sees something in it. He wanted to talk about the case again. Wants to know if I'm still investigating it. I blew off the question with some flippant comment about whether or not that'd help him sleep at night. He said he'd sleep easier knowing I was sleeping somewhere safe. I'm going to head back to the cafe, see if I can talk to the new kid. Hopefully he's still there. 5th of the 6th, 1989, $5.20 for breakfast and coffee at the... Why am I even recording this? It's not like it's for an account. Keeping track of what I owe Sandra, I guess. Receipt is in my bag in that hard-to-get-to pocket. That way I can't lose it. Well, since I have no means of getting back home and I have nowhere to live with no money and a climbing debt to Sandra, I better look and see if I can find some work here. I'll advertise my services, but I think that's a little too hard right now, given my lack of car, office, or just personal space in general. Pouring through the local paper, not a lot going, really. Local shop wants an assistant. Please don't tell me I have to go back to that hell. Junior position anyway. Figures. Library's got something though. Seems Deacon wants to semi-retire. It's not exactly my strong suit, but I'll wager I have a better chance than most in terms of my qualifications. Might give me some quiet time to work on this case. God, I'm tired.
You look it too.
Dorian, Damien, I can always rely on you two to provide me with an honest opinion on my appearance. Please give me the recorder.
Not until you've heard us out.
I'm too tired to argue.
Good. We're proposing that you stay with us until we work things out.
I couldn't do that. Now hand it over. I heard you out.
Why not? And we've changed our minds. You don't get it back until you accept.
I do not wish to impose. I'm not a charity case.
You wouldn't be. Our house is large and empty apart from us. You could have a room of your own, unless you wanted to share.
I'm an outsider. Don't you care what the town thinks of you? What with the way news seems to travel here?
Does it look like we care what people think of us? What about our behaviour has ever suggested that? Besides, we like the attention.
You know that a show of goodwill from the two of you is rather out of character, given what I've observed of your nature.
We never said there wouldn't be terms.
And what would they be then?
Well, that would be discussed if you were actually considering our offer. So are you?
If I think about it, will you give me back the recorder?
Yes. But if the answer is yes, then you'll have to tell us before our generous spirit fades.
And when will that be?
Who knows? Could be a day, a week, or an hour. Best you think on it fast.
Thank you, boys. I will. Would living with those two be hell or heaven? I'll get back to you, Ray. I may very well get back to you. I dreamt I was walking in the woods. It was night and the moon was full, so I could see. As I walked through the brush, there was no path. I was humming a tune, and I heard something snap behind me. I felt surrounded and started to run. I find this cabin and run in, locking the door and blocking it. Something rams against it. I look out the window and see a figure in the dark. It's watching me and laughing. I yell at it and tell it I'm not afraid to hurt him. It felt like a him. And he just keeps laughing. He makes mock lunges at the door. I keep flinching, though I'm trying not to. He wants to know I'm afraid. He rams the door again, laughing, always laughing. It's manic. A screaming howl of laughter. I don't know how, but I have a gun and fire shots. When I run out of bullets, I pull out a knife. I slash at him, but he just keeps coming. The door is giving way. There's no way out. I catch a glimpse of his face in the moonlight. I can't even describe it. It was normal, like it was human, but something I can't even... It was wrong. Nowhere to run. I'm trying to hurt him, but it doesn't stop him. All I can hear is laughter, and then I woke up. I'm sweating and I'm sore. There's scratches on my arms, but no skin under my nails. Doors are still locked and... What the fuck? Oh, for fuck's sake, Ash was sitting outside the window behind me, watching me. Jesus Christ. There's a new note on the dash. What the fuck is this? It's just the word ha, repeated over and over, filling up the page, overlapping each other like someone placed it differently on a typewriter several times. Fuck. That laugh is still echoing inside my head. Shit, it's barely dawn. Oh, I doubt I'm going to be able to sleep again. Maybe I should go see the Fenns about that offer after all. Well, I am reluctantly accepting the twins' offer. They look far too pleased about it. The terms they spoke of are interesting, since there seem to be so very few. They've shown me through the house. It's quite decadent. They sleep in rooms quite close to one another. Not surprising given their relationship, but interesting to note. With their usual demeanour, they suggested taking the room between the two of theirs, or there were a couple across the other side of the house if I wasn't comfortable being sandwiched between the two of them. Cheeky bastards. I think I'll probably take one of the rooms on the other side of the house just so I can get some peace and quiet. I asked about their terms. They said they were less terms and more like consequences, and left it at that. I got the job at the library with Deacon, so I told them I'd contribute. They scoffed and said it wouldn't be necessary. My theory? They're lonely and bored, and I'm something new to play with. That's fine. I'm used to it. Anyhow, I'm sitting on their balcony, sipping on a cold G&T. They're getting the car so they can take me to pick up my stuff. I'll have to call Emma, get her to pack up a few things of mine and send it up here. Put my client files in storage and such. The twins have this beautiful view. It overlooks the falls. In fact, I can see the Respite Preserve from here. I guess I can understand how serene it must feel living here. I still don't understand why they stay. With a charmed life like theirs, they could have anything. Well, there they are. I expect that things are going to go a bit slower now that I'm not so limited by deadlines. Gives me time to dig a bit deeper and find out what's really going on here. I haven't seen that new kid in town again. Been a few days now. Hopefully he was just stopping on his way through to elsewhere. I really hope he made it. 30th of July 1989. I got the weirdest look today from one of the cashiers down at Gina's Grab and Bag. There are no major chains here at all. Not a McDonald's to be seen. I'd usually be okay with this, but funnily enough, after a month, I'm kind of craving it. Anyway, this girl, she just glared at me while putting through my order. I wound up with crushed eggs beneath leaking milk. I'd put it down to her being new if she didn't regularly appear on the Employee of the Month board at the service desk. I didn't complain. There's no such thing as anonymity in this town, and if this girl, I think her name was Becky, has an issue with me personally, then I really do not need to make it worse. I used to do that kind of job. It kind of does that to you. I'm overthinking it. Working at the library with Deacon has yielded some results. He seems to trust me, which means that I've been able to ask him slightly more personal questions as time goes on about life here. But I'm working my way up to that. Also, I now have unrestricted access to the entire library. I've got a few days a week going there. He never lets me work Fridays. He said something about giving me Friday night to, quote, unquote, live it up. As if that was a possibility in this town. But that being said, the Fenns are usually out Friday and Saturday nights, so I guess there must be something to do. Or someone. Like I said, I've taken one of the rooms at the other end of the house. Just a little more quiet that way. Not that the Fenns have any great appreciation for privacy. It's been a couple of weeks though, and I don't want to kill them, so that's a bonus. I don't like the house when it's empty though. But maybe that's because I'm not used to the space. Doesn't help that I've been looking into those dead campers in greater detail. I hit something of a dead end when I couldn't find any evidence of those campers coming through town. None of the residents who were here at the time seemed to remember seeing them. Granted, those residents are coming up to being a century old, but their memory seems fairly clear. Sandra's parents are just as gabby as she is, and they said that when those campers were found, everyone was confused since no one could remember seeing them, interacting with them. There was no car found, and with the amount of gear they had and how remote the town certainly was then, that screams unusual. I have a couple of lines of inquiry to check through. It's a long shot. Might take me a while to get the info here. I wish I was getting paid for this.
She ships stuff up here, and she still doesn't have enough stuff to warrant looking through.
She shows signs of intelligence. I wonder why she limits herself to such menial work.
She underestimates herself, I suspect.
But I guess that makes up for you overestimating her.
Pardon?
Thinking she could tell us apart, you idiot. No one could tell us apart. No one. Why do you think she'd be any different?
Oh, I don't know.
You like her, don't you?
Don't be ridiculous.
Tell me.
You have to ask. That's unusual. Either you're unsure about how you feel, so you're asking me to clarify, or you think that the standard is changing.
Then why don't we play with her? Why don't we play
Because
with...
she's already being played with.
We don't play with her because you like her.
Besides, it was your idea to invite her to stay with us. Don't pretend you're not concerned.
And don't you pretend that you weren't just as eager to extend the offer.
I'm not. She's just playing dumb when it comes to telling us apart.
Let's find out then. Just a little game. Let's see how smart she really is.
What? You want to make us say our names?
Without thinking.
And how exactly do we do that?
Well, it's not as if she's totally immune to our charms. You see that, right? I've seen how she looks at us.
It's not the same, though. It's not like the starry-eyed waitresses at the... What's this doing on? One of us must have knocked it. Take it. We can't. It's halfway through the tape. I think she'll notice if the tape was gone or tampered with. But she hasn't used it in weeks. It was buried. Precisely why she wouldn't look back through the recordings. Fine. Oh, my, Miss Barton. Why would you have had this sent up? You must admit the girl has taste. This was more revealing than I ever thought. Leaving this around for people like us is a reckless idea. Tut. Especially we unscrupulous types.
I'm flattered, boys. Truly. And for the record, I didn't pack my things. I'd thank Emma for that little addition to my wardrobe.
Well, thank you, Emma. You have taste.
Oh, I bought it. She must have thought that I'd need it. Like there is anyone worth seducing in this town. Put it away.
I'm sorry. Which one of us are you talking to?
The one holding it, of course.
What would you say to dinner?
I am so glad those two did not get their hands on this. 26th of the 7th, 1989, I walked in to find Dorian and Damien Fenn snooping through my drawers and eyeing off my lingerie. They were so close to you and the other tapes. I don't need them finding out what I think of them or that I know what I know. Not even remotely apologetic. They offered to take me out for dinner, but I feel like that was unrelated. Anyway, this isn't about them. I've discovered something interesting. I got in touch with a contact who works within the National Archives. Asked them to search for the camping group's entry into the country for up to a month before they were found, trying to find a group that large coming in from the US to the same place. Took him a couple of weeks to get back to me, but there were no groups of that size that came in together from the same place. I owe the man some work now. These sorts of records aren't easy to come across. He's managed to send me some photocopies so I can go through them a little more thoroughly in my own time. He's sending the outgoing passenger details too for 1 month after the discovery. Not too surprisingly, he's never heard of the incident. It's conceivable that these campers could have come over at different times and done their own thing before meeting up with the others, but I just don't see it. Which leads me to a new line of inquiry that will be even harder to pursue if this doesn't pan out. I've finally got my car back, which is an upside. I heard Marley talking to someone on the phone today while I was leaving with my keys. Appears my worst fears have been realised. Another kid has been reported missing. I had a feeling, damn it. Those initial notes are gone. Marley didn't mention them or ask about them, so I assume that they were taken by whoever put Harold in my car. However, there was a new note left where the others were stashed. Must have been placed after forensics looked through my car last. Anyway, it reads, "We see you've found a sanctuary here in the lion's den, but trust we can still get to you as we did back then. If I still had the others, I might have reported all this to Marley. I might do anyway. I don't want to have another note left by my bed for me to wake up to. Though I would hope that the boys might be a deterrent, especially since they seem to love walking unannounced into my room. I'm oddly grateful." 27th of the 7th. Another kid's gone missing. Liam Croydon, his name was, 16 years old. I took a look through his car at Tony's. Liam brought the car in because it was constantly overheating. Tony hadn't quite finished the work before he vanished. There was a note, same as the one I got when I arrived here. There's a second one. I'm not sure if Liam read it or if it was intended for me, but it simply says, "This is your fault. You should be guilt-ridden. If you hadn't have seen me, I'd have stayed hidden." If this was meant for Liam, then I must be missing notes. If it's for me, who did I see? I took the notes with me and Liam's got his own file now. I'm starting to think I should start one for me. It'd give Marley something to go off. Speaking of Marley, he's doing the rounds. I've seen him drive past the library a few times today. I'm waiting for him to stop in here and ask to see me. I'm not looking forward to that. Tony will have told him I've been by. I have confirmed that there is no official documentation for such a group of Americans coming into Australia. I don't know what to think. I've looked at it from several different angles, Americans from different places to the same destination, things like that, but any correlations were ruled out. Nothing works. Nothing. I'm failing again. While I've definitely been more comfortable in a bed, my dreams are getting more vivid. I don't remember them all. They tend to fade fairly fast when I wake up, but I remember laughter. I remember that I was in the roof of a house and a young dead girl was in the roof with me. She was dead but also alive. She was creeping towards me, never moving but getting closer any time I looked away. I'd turn back and she'd be closer. Her face, smiling at me. A smile that had too many teeth, sharp and pointy,
with a mouth too wide.
And it only got wider until it seemed to consume her entire face. But the eyes still stared at me. Her eyes were blind white, but they saw me. She was young, maybe 5 years old. That face was chilling. The laughter was coming from below. The man from that other dream was there. Every time I looked to him, the closer she got and the more he laughed. Her face and that smile were centimetres from mine when I woke up in a cold sweat. I tend to have recurring nightmares, but it's odd to dream of the same stranger so often in different dreams. He's been in my dreams before. I just can't remember them too well. Dorian and Damien give me weird looks some mornings. I wonder if I'm screaming or talking in my sleep. They never say. They've been good to me. Break's over, someone's coming in. 2nd of the 8th, 1989. A few more books of mine have come in the post. Specifically, the books of occult philosophy, Grammarian Vernum, and a sort of idiot's guide to sigils. I've been looking at those marks on the campers, as well as those on the first body, and I've been thinking that while some of these markings are derivative of other cultures, they've been appropriated for something bigger. Since sigil crafting is somewhat personal, figuring them out might take some time. Another note was waiting for me on the driver's seat when I got off work. It just read, "Stop."
Stop what? Is it in the name of love?
I didn't realise you guys were home.
Evidently. You don't startle easily, do you?
Not for a long while. What do you guys want?
Dinner. With you. Out somewhere. Could even take you out of town if you wanted.
Dawn Falls is a couple of hours from anywhere worthwhile.
We'd go that far.
Why don't we just have dinner at home?
Because that's boring.
Well, I'm a boring person. I'm just busy tonight. I have some things I need to follow up. Rain check?
We'll order in. Indian okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, boys. Please close the door on your way out.
As you wish.
I don't know what stop refers to. After that, in different colour print, it says, "We will eat you too." I think this was typed with blood. Shit. I'd take this to Marley, but I don't know what good it would do. DNA testing isn't quick and it's not exactly comprehensive. There's no guarantee we'd identify anyone from it. They might not be in the system. Sample might not be enough, might have been contaminated. Fuck, it could be framing someone. Fuck this case. Seventh of the 8th, 1989. Just after 5 p.m. Only just finished my shift at the library. I heard the sounds of breaking glass outside while locking up. I've just run out to see some people speed off in a car. Didn't catch the plate, heard the tyres squealing more than anything else. But whoever those fuckers were, they've smashed in the windows of my car and graffitied the fuck out of it. I'd thank them, since there's probably more paint on it now than there was, but I'm not a fan of their word choices. The insinuations that I am a whore and should leave this place seem to be becoming a regular occurrence in this town. What did I do to these people? They've slashed my tyres too. I'm gonna have to call Marley. Great. They've completely wrecked my car. It's mostly superficial shit, but I barely have the money to pay off what I owe elsewhere, and now this. If you wanted me to leave, you shouldn't have slashed my fucking tyres, you... Fuck! I won't be surprised if they cut my fucking brake lines. Damn it. I'm gonna need a lift home. There's a small piece of paper on the boot of my car, business card sized, tucked in behind my licence plate. Run, run, run. That's all it says. Heading back inside in case they come back with bigger ideas that involve my person. Speaking of violence upon persons, I have a new theory about the campers. I was flipping through a returned book regarding mysteries around the globe, and I came across the name of a forest, Hoia Baciu Forest in Romania, often referred to by locals as the Bermuda Triangle of forests. There's a central vegetation dead zone that's a total mystery. I was thinking about it and the theories about the Bermuda Triangle and applied it to this case. What if those campers weren't from here? And by that I mean, what if they were lost somewhere else entirely and somehow wound up here? Maybe that's why there's no record of them entering the country. Maybe they didn't. They weren't supposed to be here. I'm going to look into missing persons. Thank you, Inspector.
Don't be. I'm sorry this happened. I'm surprised. We don't really have this kind of problem here. Not usually.
You don't generally have dead bodies here either. Guess I have all the luck. I hope the town isn't pulling out all the stops just for little old me.
An uncanny series of coincidences.
Sure. If that's how you want to see it, Christopher.
Do you need a ride home?
My ride's here, but thanks. Tell Tony I'll be there in the morning to ask what the damage will be to repair her.
You know this is because of them, right?
You boys going my way?
Even if we weren't, we would be now.
Charmers. You know I've been having bad dreams, don't you?
We all have bad dreams. They just seem really intense.
What have I been doing?
It's not really important. They're just dreams. Just dreams. Can we talk about it another time?
We think you've had enough gloom for one day without adding nightmare talks to it.
We insist that we go out to dinner tonight.
Cheer you up.
Have a drink.
You've been wearing yourself down.
Yeah, why not? Let loose a little. Calm yourselves, boys. I just mean it'd be nice to feel good. And what would be better than going to dinner with two handsome young men? But let's just go to that nice restaurant in town. I don't want to go too far. I'd like to get wrecked. I want you two to get wrecked with me, and I don't want a massive cab fare back to yours.
Out on the town, boozing it up.
With both of us?
Oh, followed by getting into a cab with us. People might talk.
I think I care about my reputation in this town about as much as you do.
You say that now. But if you insist, we'll make reservations for 6:30 tonight. Where's something swish?
You know what? I think I will. Maybe it'll kill the dreams for a night. There was a boy in my dream. He was looking at me for a moment, then strode off into the woods. I scrambled after him. It wasn't the usual forest, but I was still scared for him. It felt the same, that smothering feeling. I seemed to be constantly falling behind. He was always so far ahead, he'd stop and wait for me. The air kept getting closer and closer along with the forest to a point where I could hardly move. I could feel hands running over my body, though I couldn't see them. Then I... This isn't my room. Oh, God.
I see that booze didn't help the dreaming. Good thing we're heavy sleepers.
We're heavy sleepers.
Though you did wake me, which is quite a feat. Thought you could use some tea.
Oh, Christ. I think I'm going to...
Just be careful how you finish that sentence. You could be presuming an awful lot.
What happened when we got home last night?
What did you dream about?
Woods. A young boy. Some old wench that I usually see as a man. I never dreamt about him before I came here.
That's interesting.
He okay?
He will be.
This may be presumptive, but I need to know, did we sleep together?
We came home. You were legless and terribly flirty.
Sounds fairly standard.
But you didn't want to go into your room. Couldn't tell you why, so you stumbled in here and asked us to stay with you.
That's suspiciously less like me.
So yes, we slept together, but not in the biblical sense.
Oh, thank Christ. That came across as rather insulting, didn't it?
You're really rather adorable when you're flustered. Look, did you enjoy last night?
Of course I did. You two know how to show a girl a good time. It's not that I don't like you both.
I don't think either my brother or I have been on this side of the talk before.
I can't imagine so. I just prefer to be able to remember those kinds of events. That's all.
In all honesty, we prefer you remembered it too.
Thank you for the tea.
Go have a shower. I'll cook up some breakfast. Though if you're still worried about being on your own, I could always...
You boys are incorrigible.
Dorian thinks you can tell the two of us apart. I don't believe him.
I know. Interesting ploy, Dorian. You know, I am adverse to going into my room. Not afraid exactly, just... I don't know. Putting it down to the hangover and Dorian putting the inclination in my head. But I need clean clothes. A shower is going to feel good. Oh yeah, my dream. Yeah, I was following the boy and he seemed to split off into... it's getting fuzzy now, but I saw him in front of that man. But the old man was seemingly more of a hag than I remember. Maybe that's how the boy saw it, I don't know. The boy was reaching for the grinning face. A twig snapped under my foot. The boy looked at me and the thing snatched him up. That's when I woke up. Seeing Damien fidget like that in his sleep is weird. I never hear them dream. But I guess I rarely stay up later than them and they're usually up before or not long after me. I suspect their rooms are soundproofed. The house seems to echo, yet I didn't hear Dorian approach the door. Shower, food, then thinking. 13th of the 8th, 1989. Emma got in touch the other day. We've made some progress. Some accounts have settled. Rent owing is being paid off, which means there will be no lawsuits coming up against me for unpaid accounts. We're still chasing the Robsons, of course. They want to pursue a civil suit against me, but... Hello? What do you want? No. No. What I want is for you to fuck right off. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass about what you wanted for me. I know you and Mother think I'm better than this. Tell it to your clients. I don't want to hear it. This was my choice. There's something here. There is. Okay, professors, forgive me for thinking I know a damn thing. I'm sorry I'm such a disappointment to you both. And you wonder why I don't call. Why I don't tell you when I'm in trouble. No, I don't want your help. We both know I haven't been your daughter for a very long time. Your words! Your fucking words! Nothing will ever be enough for you. I'm fine on my own, so just leave me be.
Hey, what's going on in here?
Nothing, it's fine. What do you care if I'm living with a man? If I'm being honest, I'm living with more than one.
That's delightfully ambiguous. What's the bet they're picturing a dozen burly men right now?
You kicked me out, remember? Just because I didn't come crawling back, just because I picked myself up and got on with life
Okay, that's enough. Hello? Is this Mr. Barton? Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's time for your daughter's daily ravishing. I know! Just an inconvenient time to call. Okay, bye now.
You shouldn't have done that.
So call them back and apologise if you're so inclined. You need to calm yourself. You're off the phone. You're safe. We're not going to let anything happen.
Nowhere feels safe here. 21st of August. So I was just in to see Tony about the damage to my car. I may as well write it off, the amount it'll cost me to fix her. She was one of the first big things I bought on my own, though. I'm loath to let her go. Tony was a little standoffish, even for her. Apparently my brake lines were cut.
I heard. Tony said you were here.
Any luck finding the vandals?
No, not off what you could give me. Any ideas or leads?
I have my suspicions.
What, Tress? She's a sweetheart.
Christopher, did I
Just
hear you
wait.
say my name? Oh, you must be on business. Can I get you anything?
A coffee would be wonderful.
No problems.
And Tress,
What?
if you could get me another soda, I'd be very grateful.
Sure. Slut.
Pardon?
Nothing. How was your meal?
Good, thank you.
Good. I had the chef whip you up something special.
Thought you might have, so I switched it with the table behind me. It did look good.
You little bitch.
Tress, what's your language?
Oh, come on. She is.
Tress, coffee's up.
Yes, Sandra.
Am I still welcome here, Sandra?
I'm sorry, Audrey.
I have to go.
Something interesting?
I think you should come with me.
For my safety?
But mainly to assist me. I'll explain in the car.
I wouldn't, Chris. You don't know what they're saying. Don't involve yourself with her any more than you have.
Thanks,
I
Sandra.
appreciate the concern, Sandra, but I need her to take a look at something and she lacks a car. She has to come with me.
Sorry, hon, I mean no offence. There's just enough animosity around here as it is.
Sandra, can I ask you something before we go? Just quietly.
Sure.
What do you think is happening here?
I think we haven't had a stranger stay in town this long. They always leave pretty quick. And you've got a lot hanging around you, hun. Now I've got tables to wait and an employee to speak to. And you have places to be.
Thanks, Sandra. Keep the change. Audrey Barton, 21st of August 1989, approximately 2:45 p.m. I am at a site where a body has been found. My presence was requested by Inspector Christopher Marley to give an opinion on what happened. We've had to trek down to the bottom of the falls themselves. Took quite some time. The body itself is on a rocky outcrop slightly downstream from the falls. To save time, I've waded across while they source a raft. Current is especially strong. I don't know how well one could carry a body over without help. My gear was enough to cause issue. I've brought my camera too, taken some preliminary shots to show the body in situ before I approached it, just in case they try to get me for tampering. I'm about 10 feet away. From what I can tell, it's a young girl, maybe 8 or 9, barely 4 foot, light brown hair. She's in a faded yellow sundress. Can't tell how long she's been dead. There's no decay. Her back's broken. Body extremely contorted. She's face down, her back bent so that her feet are either side of her face. I suspect the jaw has been broken like the others, given how wide the gape is. She isn't tied down. I suspect the jaw has been broken like the others, given how wide the gape is. She isn't tied down. Where she is positioned is in a sort of groove. Would be unlikely to be moved here. There is a mark on her face, but only one. Not like Chantel, who was covered in them. I think there's something in her mouth. But I dare not interfere with the body at this point.
Ray, have you found anything?
Yes, Inspector, come on up.
Is it Liam Croydon?
No, I don't think she's Liam Croydon.
What? she? She's not on any missing person list that I have.
Are you sure?
I'll double check, but I'm fairly sure.
That's interesting. I assume your officers are searching the area for any sign of a person or persons along the shoreline and surrounding forest.
Yes, they are. They haven't found anything yet.
Who reported seeing her here?
I can't tell you the specifics, but it was someone looking over the falls.
You know, I think I can see this rock every morning from the Fenn's balcony.
Must help you admire your own handiwork. What's she doing here, Marley? She's a civilian. You're just letting her wander around a crime scene.
I haven't disturbed anything.
I asked her to be here. She has specialist knowledge.
She's a suspect.
She's never been a suspect, Jones. The disappearances began before her arrival.
Yeah, there's only been bodies since she arrived.
The first body was dead before she got here. We know that. Now, if you want to report me, go ahead. I asked to involve her in this one instance. It's on record with the higher-ups. She has qualifications we don't, and no expert nearby is able to come out. I have had to make do.
Is she recording this?
Ray, I'm going to have to ask you to turn that off so as not to record an official investigation. I can't allow that.
Fine, but if it's off, then so am I. I've made my observations and I will happily discuss them with you, but not here. Not under these circumstances.
No, you're staying. I need you here. You can surmise it later, but not firsthand. Just turn off the recorder.
Fine.
You should have just let her drive that car.
Well, that was bracing. I gave Marley what I could, which wasn't a lot. It seems to match what has occurred previously in the recent bodies found, and the campers. I was not allowed to retrieve what was in the girl's mouth. I have been asked to be there for the autopsy when they remove it, just in case it's relevant to me and my quote-unquote qualifications. I asked Marley about that on the way back to the station. He did actually clear this with higher-ups. Apparently I'm in their system. I'm on a list. I should have mentioned to Marley that I probably was. I keep forgetting about that. Doesn't come up much. To be honest, from what I've seen, I do not want to be the one to remove whatever is in her mouth. Just a feeling. Officer Jones let me look over things more closely, but escorted me off the island and back to the inspector's car quite closely. Didn't say a word to me, just tried to stare me down. Thankfully, Marley wasn't far behind us, leaving his other officers with the body bag to carry up the hill. As far as I know, they haven't found any tracks along the edges of the river. It's plausible that whoever placed her there boated up the river, but the current is strong, so that seems less likely. That Marley doesn't recognise her as recently missing scares me a little. Girls her age are highly noticeable, more so than wayward teens. It was only 3 years ago that Samantha Knight was taken, though news here doesn't seem to spread far into the outside world. But someone local would have reported a missing child. Hell, Marley would probably have recognised her. Someone elsewhere would have reported a child that young missing almost immediately. I hope we find the parents. Or else I'm a certified loony to consider the theory roaming in the back of my head. Looks like they're ready for me. Bet I'm not allowed to have you in there with me either. So how did you know about my degree?
And you're recording this, why? What are you talking about? I told you, my superiors told me you were cleared to be called in. Hell, they said they would have recommended you.
That's a load of bull. And I'm recording it because I want it on record.
You could have told me you were on a list of
I was
specialists.
forcibly placed on it. I'd forgotten all about it.
Sure. I'm sorry about today with Jones.
Close-knit town, close-knit people. I'm not one of you.
The Fenns seem to like you enough.
I'm not really sure they're part of the knit. They're different.
But people want them to be. They're desirable. Not to say that you aren't, or anything.
Oh, I get it. They were born here. I wasn't.
It's not just that. They have a reputation. They're the culture this town lacks. Or rather, their family is. Besides that, they're handsome and they're twins.
Is that jealousy hiding behind your tone, Inspector?
Maybe. I'm just concerned. They're ensnaring. I've seen what they do.
So have I. Don't worry about me. I'm way ahead of them.
If you say so, Ray, but it's not them I'm worried about.
Good night, Christopher.
Stay safe.
Of course. Just going to crash out on the front step here a minute. Today's been long. Autopsy revealed little I didn't already guess at. I told Marley I would get back to him on the markings. The woman conducting the autopsy pulled out what was in the girl's throat. I don't want to describe it again. I don't want that image in my head anymore. They can't fully determine how she died. There's some water in the lungs, but nothing else suggests drowning. To be honest, she looked scared to death. I spaced out through all the medical jargon, too focused on the piece of cloth sitting on the metal trolley. It was Zach's ring. I'd given it to him several years ago. I can't believe he still had it. I didn't pick up on it being missing when he died since... Well, it didn't even register to me that he would have kept it. I can't believe he kept it. Why would he keep it? I know it's his because I personalised it to him. I didn't tell Marley. I'm wondering if I should. In the cloth, it read, "He screamed for you. She cried till she was blue. I want you to cry for me, and then I'll take you too." It's written in what I suspect to be blood. I'd be surprised if it wasn't blood. I'm scared. I feel like I've started this somehow. I don't understand. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what's really happening here. Zach, I'm so sorry.
Ray.
Ow!
Welcome home.
Home?
Mm-hmm. What are you doing out here?
Give me a minute, boys. I just need a minute.
No. In. Now.
Oh, I saw the young boy in my dream again. The man as well. I seemed to be in a maze. Every entrance the man appeared in, the boy crash-tackled into him, pushing him back so that I was just out of his reach. His fingers still managed to brush my face once or twice. The boy screamed at me to run, and I didn't question it. I ran to the soundtrack of laughter and joyful squeals and terrifying snippets of all the notes I had received. It was a whole lot of noise, but I could somehow make out every word of what was being said. I heard the worst of it. Soon the man was appearing at nearly every entrance, and the boy appeared with him. The boy's movement was as impossible as the man's, but he isn't destructive like the man. He seems genuine in wanting to help me. Before I knew it, I was at a dead end, and raucous laughter echoed through the corridors. I frantically beat my fist against the walls. The laugh, the snicker, was getting closer. The more panicked I became, the more he laughed, and the more he laughed, the more I scrambled. Suddenly a hand grabbed mine. It was the boy. He looked into my eyes with this burning stare that cried apologies. He pulled at me and I ran with him. When the man appeared, he let go of my hand and pushed him away, and then at the next opening the boy would reappear and take my hand again. There was no laughter now, only screams. The man's. I was being stolen from him. The next time he appeared and the boy careered into him, he put up a fight, not that I stopped to watch. I heard the boy scream out as I felt another hand slip into mine, and I was led out into nothingness, and I turned to find the maze was gone and the boy was still standing, still holding my hand. "You can't be afraid, not of him," he said. "He forever dwells within, but most don't notice him or care to." His voice seemed to echo in the most familiar way. Then he smiled and I woke up. I don't know what it means. It's the 31st of August, I think. Yeah, they only found the girl the other day. Speaking of, I'm getting closer to figuring out those markings. They're used to conceal and to spy. They are not warnings so much as they are lookouts, sort of stealing their sight for their own means kind of thing. Hard to explain, but even harder for me to believe. The books I had to root through to even get some semblance of an idea. It's crazy, but given everything so far, what else is new? I can hear something outside my room. Sounds kind of like the twins are fighting. That's unusual. I'll get back to you. Oh, shit, I'm late for work. I don't know what the boys were fighting about this morning. I'm not sure they were fighting, but they weren't their usual playful selves. I only saw Damien, really. Dorian was disappearing into the bathroom, but Damien was pressing me to get ready for work. When I asked him what was wrong, he just said they were frustrated that they woke up late. He seemed worried, though. It was strange only hearing one of their voices on the car ride to the library. It was oddly busy today. Deacon kept me working uncharacteristically hard, so I barely had time to myself. I've just finished work and I'm waiting for the boys to pick me up.
Hey, slut! Did you really think we wouldn't notice?
Excuse me?
You have them wrapped around your little finger.
I really don't.
Are you fucking them?
Of course she's fucking them.
Well, she's living with them. They hang on her every word, for fuck's sake.
You are not taking them away from us.
They go out almost every Friday and Saturday nights. Without me, I might add.
Liar! They haven't been out since that boy was found in your car. If you haven't fucked them, that's what they want from you. That's all they want from you.
You tell yourself that, Tress.
You were all over them the other week. We saw you out together. Isn't one enough, you bitch?
You're not going to be so pretty when we're done.
Bitch nearly got me fired. Sandra nearly threw me out.
Fuck you. You deserved it.
Big city girl thinks she's better than us. Dumb slut. Soon no one's gonna want to touch you.
None of you have a fucking shot with them. I've watched them shut you down. If you think hurting me will change that, good fucking luck.
One day they will change their minds like they so often do. But not with you around.
Get off her now! Which one of you did this? Which one? I'm so sorry we were late, Audrey. We were held up in town.
What the hell happened?
Arrest them! They were beating Audrey.
Where is your proof?
You cut her.
She did that to herself.
Yeah, we were just talking to her.
Bullshit! I was recording when they attacked me. Check the recorder.
All right. Boys, get her to the station and call the hospital to send someone to get her checked out. Tell them it's an emergency. I'll take this lot in to get statements and we'll sort all this.
I have decided against pressing charges. Marley thinks that with the tape I have a strong case, but I can't afford it. I can't afford the lawyer, and I can't afford the animosity it would harbour in the community. Whether or not they did wrong, I'm still not one of them. I'm still the outsider. I'm still the wrongdoer. I wonder at what point in the mutilation I would have gained sympathy instead of Tress. Still, the girls got what they wanted. I'm sure I lost some pretty points, woe is me. I'm going to have some gnarly facial scars. One through the eyebrow and one through both lips. A few stitches and they might heal away to almost nothing one day.
Still beautiful.
Scars are pretty hot.
Liar.
Don't test us on that. Not today. You should have pressed charges.
And what would that accomplish? They'd be out on bail and I'd remain a target. Maybe by showing mercy they'll leave me be. After all, I can always change my mind on that. Doing anything else to hurt me now would be a bad move. And they know it will be worse for them.
You play a good game with this town, Audrey.
But you can't win.
Best you can hope for is a stalemate.
Dorian, what happened to your hand?
Accident cooking breakfast. Why do you ask?
No, no reason. Just the weirdest sense of deja vu. Just a dream I had.
That's interesting. Maybe you heard me yell, so your mind put something similar in the dream.
Maybe. But I don't remember you cooking this morning.
Barely got started when it happened. I'd just finished putting things away when you walked out.
I heard you two arguing.
We don't argue.
I was worried about him. I told him to be more careful. That's all. Just making a fuss.
Speaking of food...
We've sorted dinner.
Care to join us for a film this evening?
What film?
Village of the Dam, Children of the Corn.
A little too in keeping with the theme of today. Do you have anything fluffy?
Does Labyrinth count?
Yes.
It's a story about a grown man kidnapping a baby and trapping a teenage girl, trying to make her fall in love with him.
A good compromise, I feel.
Done.
As long as you two don't mind me fawning over David Bowie.
Not at all. As long as you don't mind us fawning over you, fawning over him, it's fine.
Sure, whatever. I'm gonna go shower.
Dinner in half an hour.
I have the feeling I will never be alone again after today. And for once, I'm not sure that's the worst thing. Fuck, my face hurts. I'm going to stay out of spite now. Hope you're happy, Tress. September 7th, and I'm finally out of the house. Dorian and Damien are less than happy about it. Cuts are healing up okay, but the boys made me swear I would wait for them before leaving the building at the end of my shift. I got a lovely bunch of flowers with a letter from Sandra. She fired Tress, and she wishes me well, which is nice, considering. Tony dropped in yesterday to tell me my car had been set alight and was now nothing but a burnt-out husk. I'm glad I'd removed all my personal effects. I'm officially stranded. Tony was neither here nor there, but I expected that. Marley dropped in to check on me too. I don't know what the issue is between he and the Fenns, but they were icy in one another's presence. Pretty sure Deacon is keeping me out of sight on the twins' request. So, I am abusing the computer system. Apparently, they have internet here for academic purposes, which was something of a surprise. After some wrangling, I got onto international missing persons cases and unsolved mysteries. Unsurprisingly, I came across a record of a group of missing hikers in the US. They were all experienced hikers and climbers. They'd put in a flight plan for an easy hike in a relatively well-known piece of forest. They did register that they were going off track, being led by two of their Native American friends to a tribal site to offer their respects to the land. What was supposed to be a 3-day trip has become an ongoing investigation. I have the details of the missing people plus photos. I'm willing to bet that's them. I'm printing them out to take to Marley. I have to compile this properly. It would take me days to check out every single missing persons report, and even longer to go through all the Jane and John Does that exist in the world and compare the two. That's a project that's beyond my capability and capacity right now. Not that it would explain how any of them got to where they ended up. The boys have still been going out of a Friday and Saturday night, wherever it is they go. I have some theories to test, and I feel like if I say them out loud, I'm officially mad. If what I think will happen happens, then I'll talk about it. Guess I better be on my best behaviour so that the boys feel comfortable leaving me alone tomorrow, Arvo. I have to find Ash, and I'll have some questions for Jackson if I'm right. 8th of September 1989. I've managed to sneak through the back end of town to get to the woods. The hoodie has served me well, I think. From where the Fenn's house is, I barely have to go close to town, just around the back of Tony's and a couple of shops, but they back onto scrub. I've got my camera with me, and you, my trusty tape recorder. If I don't make it out and someone finds this, take it to the Fenns in Dawn Falls. I have left them the rest of my tapes, and I've also left them a note, should the worst happen. Hey,
what are you doing in here? Now is not the time to play.
No, it's not, but I need you to help me.
No.
You're going to let me walk in here alone. You said you could keep me safe off the path.
That was then.
Where do you come from, Ash? You're not from here, are you?
Neither are you.
So maybe I should go back to where I came from. And I have no car, I'll just have to walk.
No, please don't. He won't be happy. He'll eat you. You can't.
Holy shit, is that snow? It's freezing. Oh my god. What the fuck was that? Okay. Lost doesn't begin to describe it. Where are you, old man? I will find you. I will end this. What's this? There's markings carved into the trees. Reads like a warning. Don't know who put it here, the old man or locals.
Hey, come with me. We need to run.
What was that?
Run. Just run. Go straight that way and don't look back.
Ash!
Go.
Ash! Ash!
Must have bumped it when I fell. Are you still working? Please tell me. Yes. Oh God. I don't know where I am. It's cold, but not snowing anymore. It's night, but it's clear. And what there is of a moon is bright. I must be in the Northern Hemisphere. Maybe Europe? America is more likely. I think there's something nearby. I can hear water running. There's two bodies sitting either side of a cave entrance. Their eyes are open, mouths agape, arms extended and pointing at me. When I move, they move, though they are clearly dead. I'm nuts, aren't I? It's finally happened. I cracked. I fucking cracked. There's a mark over the cave, but I'm probably hallucinating now. I'm never going to make it back home. Why did I do this? I was stupid to think... I know that song. You and me, the devil makes... Jackson?
Where's Ash?
Ash found me, but...
Where is she?
She
We have to go, now. You were stupid to come in here. Stupid! You're lucky she came to get me. Are you all right?
Did you see the bodies too? Jackson, please. Did you see them? Did you see them? I am crazy then.
No, miss. The woods are.
Is this really necessary?
My lawyer isn't present, so yes. I want to keep a record of this interview for myself as assurance, just in case.
You really don't trust me.
You won't believe me, Marley.
Now that you've had some time to process what you saw, can you give me a description of the bodies and where you found them?
I already told you.
You told us you saw 2 bodies out in those woods, Audrey. We scoured them and found nothing. Not a shred of evidence to suggest there were any bodies there.
You'll never find them.
Is that a confession, Miss Barton? I bet you did it. When we found you, you were babbling. Probably in shock from what you just did.
Shut up, Jones. I'm conducting this interview.
I was just told you didn't find any fucking bodies. I ran into Jackson just after I saw them. If he didn't see them, then the forest changed and they're gone.
What are you talking about?
You won't believe me.
Try me.
The forest changes, like it did for those campers. They were abducted from a forest in the USA.
Oh, sir, you can't be taking this seriously.
Jones, get out. Go guard the hallway and make sure no one comes through or I'll lock you up for obstructing my investigation. What are you talking about?
I looked into it. No group of campers came into town. No large groups from the US ever came into the country.
Audrey.
But there is a group of missing campers in the US with descriptions fitting those of the campers found here.
Ray, calm down.
This might also explain the 50 or so people that have gone missing in those woods but were never found. They're somewhere else in the world, strapped to some tree in the middle of nowhere.
If it's all right with you, I'd like to get a blood sample.
I'm not high or drunk, Christopher. The forest changes. I've seen it myself. Ask Jackson. He knows. He's pulled me out of there more than once when I've gone off track.
A group of us all went off track tonight looking for the bodies you described and we all came back.
Yeah, but I bet you were in a search line and it would have been fucking obvious if the woods were any different to the recorded terrain. I'm not an idiot, and whatever makes the forest shift isn't either. You all had a purpose. To take any of you would have revealed itself.
That isn't possible, Audrey.
I love how you think I don't recognise how improbable it is. Check the records of what I've found for yourself. I've got them at the Fenns. So, are you letting me go?
He better be. Else our lawyer will be on his way.
Sorry, sir. They pushed by.
That's fine. I'm not holding her.
But, sir...
We'll be taking her home then.
Keep an eye on her. I'm worried.
You don't even know.
Jones is going to report Marley to the higher authorities. I heard him screaming as we left. I hate this town. After everything that's happened...
Audrey, please go lie down. Make your notes later.
Oddly, the boys seem to believe me. Or at least they didn't outright put me down. Oh, I can't do this any... What? What is this? Oh my God!
Audrey, are you okay?
There are bones, meat, and dead birds hanging from the ceiling from what looks like strands of matted hair. Probably some kind of ward or warning all over the walls. Words, laughter, the eyes on the wall. They've been scratched in and decorated with moss and bark and... crocodile. What do you want?
Damn it, he's been in here. You know, out of context, it's really a very good likeness. If it wasn't for the rest of it, I'd want to keep it.
What?
We really did hope you'd taken the room between ours when you arrived. Now we're really going to have to insist. He's never gotten this close to us since the last time. What a mess.
Thus concludes the second part of Dawn Falls, and sadly, the end of the free content for this title. To hear the third and final part, please visit patreon.com/redtheatre. We have 3 subscription tiers, with the most basic giving access to all the main audio content produced by the Red Theatre, with new editions planned every month. Join us in the upper tiers for exclusive behind-the-scenes content, interviews, making of, or enter the Executive Producers Roundtable and collaborate on upcoming productions. This has been lead producer Maul Allen Hewish, thanking you for your ears and patronage.